You know that person who says, I'll be ready in 5 minutes and then spends those 5 minutes lying completely still, replaying a conversation from 2019? Yeah, that person isn't dramatic. They're not weak. And they are absolutely, definitely not doing it on purpose. If you have ever sent a text, then immediately dissected every single word of it like a crime scene detective, welcome. You're about to feel very understood. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who overthink everything, the ones society calls anxious or indecisive. But science? Science has a very different name for what's actually going on. Here's what most people don't realize: overthinking isn't a personality flaw, it's a feature of a brain that refuses to stop processing. Psychologists call it rumination, a pattern where the brain loops back over information trying to find certainty. And here's the twist: it usually belongs to people with higher than average emotional intelligence. The same mechanism that makes you replay a conversation at midnight is the same one that makes you deeply empathetic, unusually perceptive, and very hard to fool. Studies show overthinkers tend to pick up on details others completely miss. They notice the slight change in someone's tone, the pause before an answer, the thing nobody said but everybody felt. That's not a curse. That's a superpower with a very loud volume setting. So why do some people's brains do this and others don't? Part of it is wiring. Overthinkers tend to have a more active default mode network. That's the part of your brain that fires up when you're not focused on a task. In most people, it quietly idles. In overthinkers, it runs a full audit of your past decisions, your future possibilities, that weird thing you said at a party in 2015. But environment plays a role too. Many chronic overthinkers grew up in unpredictable environments, homes where moods shifted without warning, where the wrong word could change everything. Their brain learned early: pay close attention or get caught off guard. Overthinking wasn't irrational. It was adaptive. It was survival. The brain that protected you then is still running those same programs now, even when you're perfectly safe. Now, here's where we have to be honest, because not all overthinking is the same. There's the kind that makes you careful, thorough, creative. The kind that means you think through problems from angles nobody else considered. The kind that writes the best text messages, plans for every scenario, and never forgets a detail. And then there's the kind that keeps you frozen. The kind that makes a simple decision feel like defusing a bomb. The kind that builds entire futures out of one unanswered message, catastrophizing until the worst case scenario feels like the only case scenario. The difference is whether your thinking is leading somewhere or just circling. One is deep processing, the other is a loop that never closes. So it's worth asking yourself, are you thinking things through or are you thinking to avoid feeling them? What nobody talks about is the exhaustion. Overthinkers don't just think about the thing in front of them. They think about everything attached to that thing, the thing underneath it, the version of events where it goes wrong, the version where it goes right but for the wrong reasons. And then they think about the fact that they're overthinking it. And add that to the pile. It's like running 12 browser tabs at all times. The computer still works, but it runs hot. And it's tired in a way that sleep doesn't always fix. This is why overthinkers often crave deep, quiet, predictable environments. Not because they're boring, but because their inner world is already loud enough. Society loves to treat overthinking like a disorder to fix. Calm down. Stop worrying. Just decide. But here's what's actually true. The world's most careful thinkers, its most ethical leaders, its most emotionally attuned creators, they're not people who think less. They're people who learned to direct where the thinking goes. An overthinker who learns to channel their depth is not broken. They're one of the most thorough, loyal, self-aware people in any room. They're the ones who catch the thing everyone else missed, who remembers what you said 3 months ago because they were actually listening, who will think about your problem longer than you will. They don't need to stop thinking, they just need to stop apologizing for it. If you watched this video and nodded more than you expected, subscribe, because the next one goes even deeper. We're going to talk about why overthinkers feel emotions differently than everyone else. Not more sensitively. Differently. And once you understand that, a lot of things about yourself will finally start making sense. And drop a comment. Tell me, What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever overthought? Because I promise, whatever you say, someone else has been there at 3 a.m. thinking the exact same thing. You're not too much. You're just wired for depth.